What's up, guys? It's your boy Icy Boy Gaming here, back with another video. And in today's video, we are talking about Need for Speed Payback and my opinion on it. We are back with this series. We are back with the Need for Speed series, me giving my opinion on it and stuff like that. So let's get hype. And I'm about to explain to you what I think about Need for Speed Payback. And honestly, about Need for Speed Payback, I'm split on it. I'm 50-50. Some aspects of the game I like, some aspects of the game I just don't like. Like, for example, I'll say this is probably one of my favorite maps in the Need for Speed franchise. Definitely not number one. Fairhaven is number one. Fairhaven will always be number one, and I will debate that down. But anyways, how do I say this? The map is great. It's probably my second favorite map. Either that or my third favorite map. And it is a solid Need for Speed overall. It's pretty simple in terms of like how to play it. Has an amazing storyline. Very Fast and Furious like somewhat, I would say. But storyline is solid. Now what I really want to get into, and you already know what I got to get into, are the mechanics.
I beg your pardon?
The mechanics
Hell no, man.
are hot garbage. It is garbage. Trash. Straight up trash. Being honest. And it's like, it's not from the sense of like, oh, get good. I consider myself to be a very good racer, but that's just me considering myself to be. Obviously, it could be different, but I definitely am above average. I will say so about that. But how do I say this? There are certain parts of this game that is just like straight up, like you can see where they were kind of like rushing a bit, like especially like later on in the storyline when like you had to go up against like the last three people, which is like the hypercar lady, Supernova, yeah, I believe that was her name. You had to go up against the drag racing guy who was very annoying, and then you had to go up against, stick with me here, the off-road people. Oh man, nah. Matter of fact, I don't even know why they decided to add off-road in this game, bro. Off-roading was basically, it just doesn't work well. I'm being honest. Off-roading just doesn't work well because the way the game is set up, it's just like the cars just like, they ignore the physics of the actual off-road. I'm talking about the AI, by the way. Like, your car can still abide by the physics of the road, but their car, nah, their car's built different. Their car ignores the laws of physics. If there's a ramp, it won't jump it. It will just go straight to the ground. It will teleport back on the ground. Whereas your car will be acting like it went on a bumpy road on one of the world's biggest speed bumps. It's just like, it's just wild to me how like the differences and stuff like that. And another thing I want to get into is how hard some of like the final three dudes were. Like Supernova, she wasn't hard. She was just very annoying with a very irritating voice. But the drag racing guy, he was actually pretty challenging. But besides every single other challenge, I was easily able to sweep that across the floor. But the drag racing guy, his final challenge, he really had me on the edge, which I eventually won through sheer luck. I don't know how, but I won. And instead of this dude like, you know what, you won, congratulations, he called the cops on you because he's salty because his car is slow. Like, literally, what? You're salty because you got ran away. You got swept on. And guess what? You called the cops. And it don't help. I'm out here trying to corner a drag car.
I beg your pardon?
It's to escape the cops. It's a drag car, not a track car. And it just makes no sense to me, bro. I'm like struggling to turn the corners. I'm like, what is even going on? And then with the off-road race, I believe it's the third race in the series. It lets you do a 2-lap race and stuff like that. It's a 2-lap race, and I forgot how it works. I think you had to get up a certain amount of points, I want to say. Yeah, you had to get up a certain amount of points, I believe. So I forgot how it went. But let me just say it like this. It was difficult. It was the most difficult race like in the entire series. I had to retry that thing like 20 times. I nearly gave up playing the game. But what fueled me to continue doing it was the fact that I wanted to make this video. And I wanted to actually complete the game first. And so I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna try through this. I got this. I really do. And so I did, and I won eventually by sheer luck. And for the fact that I didn't go into the final turn and smack dead into a tree for like the 5th time. I'm not even joking, that is exactly what happened. That happened like 5 times out of like the 20 tries that I did. And don't get me started on the police. The police, like, I actually like the physics and stuff of like the cinematic police takedowns and like the house takedowns and stuff like that. It's probably one of my favorite things, just seeing the cars fly through the air cinematically. I'm a big fan of like cinematic scenes in racing games and just video games in general. So of course that's just going to come natural. But how do I say this? The cops can be very irritating in this game, especially the ones with the EMP that can shut down your car. I don't know where they came up with that idea, but that was one of the worst ideas, because those cops be acting like campers. They don't want to come up towards you so that you can hit them, because that's the only way you can like distort their EMP is if you're either out of range or you just hit them out the way. And usually I'm able to hit them out the way, but in this one mission, I forgot, I believe it's like a mission where I had to basically drive away a dude or something like that who was a snitch. And so essentially there was this one cop with an EMP. He was driving beside me, but he would never switch over. And I'm talking like I had 15 seconds left before I reached the next checkpoint. If I would have got that checkpoint, I would have won the game. It would have been good. And he would just not come up towards me. He would stay right in that rear corner. And I'm not going to be able to slow down. I got 15 seconds left. I don't got time to, worry about the actual cops, even though you do get extra time for taking down cops. It just makes no sense to me to, go on my way to attack them. And so right as I'm right there, this dude shoots an EMP and it takes me out the race, bro. I had to restart that race afterwards like 5 more times until I got it. I was like, you gotta be kidding me, bro. It was just like one of the most craziest moments, bro. And I wouldn't have a problem with this Need for Speed. I wouldn't be so 50-50 split on it if it wasn't for the fact that I struggled through that final race and final parts. All that just for the final boss to get swept on. I'm not even joking. That final boss was so easy. I don't even know how that even qualified as a final boss. I'm talking, I'm in one region of the map. The boss is 2 regions away. I'm going away that fast. And it turns out at the end of it says she has some self-driving tech. She must have been driving 60 miles an hour, because she should have was not in a hypercar race. That's for sure. They should have let you get the car at the end of it, though. That kind of sucks. Another thing. And honestly, now we get to some of the more good parts. Super builds. We need that back in like the next Need for Speed. That super build thing, that was super cool. Where you can make like these super cool looking, different builds. Though instead of having it just like one car, the older cars and stuff, the bar and find cars or whatever that you can find, have it for every single car, if not like half the list of cars and stuff like that. So yeah, another pretty good thing that came out of this game was the soundtrack, bro. And now I haven't really played Need for Speed Payback back then when I first got it, but I did play Forza Horizon 4, and a bunch of the songs that Need for Speed Payback has, Forza was just straight up stole that from them, bro. Like, I'm not even joking. Like, I'm like, wait a minute. This song was a Forza Horizon 4. They just stole that from them. But they had some good solid songs. They had Post Malone on there. Just some pretty good songs overall that kept the like the soundtrack pretty hype. I'll say the soundtrack is probably a solid, I'll say 7.5 out of 10. Definitely could be fixed up in some aspects, but it is pretty cool overall. Definitely does have some W songs. Now the map is definitely one of the best maps, hands down. Just like the city, and like, why can't racing game like companies understand this? We want city maps, bruh. Like, you can give us an off-road map and like a DLC or like an expansion or something like that, but for the most part, we want the city. We want the highways. That's what we want. give us those type of highways, bro. Like, look at the popularity of like stuff like No Hesse. Like that's what we need. We need stuff like that instead of like wide open roads and open land with no major cities and stuff like that. So honestly, Need for Speed Payback solid. The story's okay. I'd say. I feel like the Mustang mission, you know, the one where the Mustang and they stood the Regera, I feel like there was a little bit too early on, especially since that was like one of the main things they were advertising. What else? I want to say I really do like the way of earning money in the game, and I feel like compared to Need for Speed Unbound, it's not really a grind fest, nor is it like too easy. It's just like that perfect in between to be able to get like the car that you want and stuff like that. And honestly, that's all I gotta say. Now my ranking and basically my rating for Need for Speed Payback, I'll give it a solid 8 out of 10. It's all right. Definitely one of the better Need for Speeds overall, but there are some major problems I'm gonna say, especially with the physics. Please, Need for Speed, please fix your physics. Please get some normal physics. Otherwise than that, guys, we're gaming out. Go play yourself some Need for Speed.
Get Wi-Fi anywhere you go.
Hold up.